Welcome to the fascinating world of the Aztec Empire, a civilization brimming with complexity, grandeur, and traditions. But behind the splendor, there existed a strict social order with powerful leaders and severe taboos. In this video, we'll delve deep into the crucial roles of Aztec leaders, the gender dynamics that shape society, and the terrifying consequences of breaking sacred taboos. At the heart of Aztec society stood the Huey Tlatoani, the supreme leader of the Aztec people. But being a ruler in the Aztec Empire wasn't just about wearing extravagant feathers or commanding armies. It was about divine responsibility. The Huey Tlatoani wasn't merely a political figure. He was a living god, chosen by the gods themselves. Their divine connection was crucial, as the Aztecs believed that their entire world depended on the gods' favor. The Huey Tlatoani was entrusted with a sacred duty: to ensure the continued life of the sun by conducting ceremonial sacrifices. But to uphold such power came with its own dark burdens. Imagine the weight on the shoulders of the ruler, tasked with ensuring the survival of the empire through divine favor and human sacrifice. The leader's every decision was seen as an echo of divine will, but their power wasn't absolute. Any violation of sacred laws or failure to honor the gods was met with grave consequences. And what were these taboos? What would happen if someone violated them? For the Aztecs, their gods required ritual purity, and any act that disturbed this sacred order was considered a sin. A high priest or ruler who failed in his duties, or anyone who disrespected the gods, faced harsh punishment. In fact, the punishment was often fatal, reflecting the severity with which the Aztecs viewed their religious and social codes. One of the most extreme forms of punishment was human sacrifice itself. For some, breaking taboo wasn't just about defying the gods, but also defying the established social order. If you disrespected sacred spaces, such as temples, or broke oaths of loyalty, the gods would demand restitution. And often, that meant a life would be taken to restore balance. Sacrifice, both symbolic and literal, was an integral part of the Aztec way of life. It was believed that through these offerings, the gods would stay appeased and keep the world in balance. But what if the consequences weren't so literal? Now, let's talk about gender roles in Aztec society. Aztec society was highly patriarchal, with men holding power in political, military, and religious spheres. The Huey Tlatoani was always male, and the warriors, the priesthood, and the ruling elite were exclusively men. But women also played important roles. They were responsible for running the household, weaving, and raising children. However, women were often restricted by cultural taboos. They could not, for instance, participate in battle or take part in the military priesthood. Aztec women were expected to maintain purity, and there were strict codes governing their behavior. Violating these could result in severe punishment. For example, a woman who committed adultery would face public humiliation and even execution in some cases. The punishment for women who broke taboos was often extreme, as it was seen as a betrayal not just of the husband, but of the sacred order. Marriage in the Aztec world was not only a personal bond, but a sacred duty. It was essential for the continuation of the family line and the stability of society. Women were highly valued as mothers and caretakers of the next generation of warriors, priests, and rulers. However, if a woman failed in her sacred duties, whether it was in the home or within the societal expectations, she could face violent retribution. Men, on the other hand, had their own taboos to adhere to. A warrior who failed in battle, for example, was seen as dishonoring his ancestors and the gods. Such a failure could lead to the ultimate punishment: death. It was said that warriors who didn't capture enough enemies for sacrifice were disgraced, and in some cases, would meet their own gruesome end. In Aztec culture, every action mattered, and every misstep was met with a terrible price. Whether a ruler or a commoner, the strict rules governing society ensured that the gods were always honored, no matter the cost. The Aztec Empire was an awe-inspiring civilization built on divine law and discipline. But it was also a society where breaking taboos was not just a personal failure, it was a cosmic offense, demanding harsh consequences. The gods, the emperor, and the warriors who served them had an unyielding grip on this world, one that demanded perfection, or paid a heavy price for imperfection. That's a glimpse into the rigid and unforgiving world of the Aztecs, a world of power, of gods, and of penalties that were as fierce as the civilization itself. In our next video, we will explore the gods and the mystical rituals that kept this empire thriving. Stay tuned for more.